today we're going to look at a video I've been avoiding looking at for a really long time, but I'm so curious to check it out. It's Nick Johnson's 10 Reasons You Should Not Move to the United States. Actually, he said never. Never move to the United States. I am an Irish girl living between Ireland and Spain currently, so I tend to offer the European perspective on the channel. I'm interested to hear what a person who is actually born and raised in America has to say about living in America. Due to the nature of this channel, a lot of people are like, would you just move to the United States already? Or why don't you just live in America? That seems kind of naive on the whole green card front. Haven't actually explored it myself. But my answer is usually, yeah, maybe I'd like to live there for a couple of months at a time. But that which is seldom is wonderful. I appreciate the United States as a visitor. That's how I enjoy it. Would I want to live there extendedly? Who knows what life is going to throw at me. I just love visiting and taking in the culture as a guest in the United States. Jesus knows what's around the corner. I could be living there next year. So when this video popped up on my recommended, I was just like, oh, I so want to watch it, but also, ooh, is it too negative for you guys? And then I thought, no, we're all grown-ups around here. Let's check it out.
Speak for yourself.
If you do enjoy the darker side of life, be sure to check out my second channel, Diane Before Dawn, which is definitely a different buzz than it is around here. It's kind of true crime and weird things that have happened historically and stuff like that. I think it's fun.
I think fun is not the appropriate word.
Also, if you could leave a like and comment for the algorithm, that would be swell. And if you want to stick around, maybe subscribe. Oh, before I watch this video, it's interesting YouTube recently got rid of being able to see how many dislikes a video has gotten. So I can't tell if this video is overwhelmingly disliked or liked, but I will say it has 31,000 likes and 755,229 views. So, gotta think there's a few dislikes in there. USA.
We're number 28 and dropping. A nonprofit called the Social Progress Index recently came out with another ranking on world progress. And guess what? 3 countries actually dropped when it came to overall progression. Hungary, Brazil, and us.
Okay, I gotta go back and see where Ireland and Spain lie in this. Okay, Ireland is number 12. Tier 1, that's pretty good. Well done, Ireland. It's a pity you're so frickin' expensive, though. Spain is number 19, and the United States is number 28. Where's Canada? Where's my Canada buddies? Oh, there you are. Number 7. Good job, Canada. Norway, Denmark, and Finland are top 3. Yeah, not much happens there. They seem to just like wandering around in grass, so.
Which means we're doing worse over the last decade than every other country in the world, people. Does that surprise, though?
Good.
Maybe not when you look around and see the challenges we have in our country today. Our kids are struggling. Our adults are overweight and drugged out. There's a political divide we haven't seen in a long time. And meanwhile, we're distracted by our phones and reality TV. The data points to an alarming picture of the state of our nation, said one really smart person. It's like we're a developing country, and that is just sad. Despite our enormous wealth, military power, and cultural influence, we're coming up in last place. We're like the entitled rich kid who keeps failing in class. Today, we're going to look at the world rankings.
Hello.
Talk about things that we do right.
You're flying through
Spend
snow.
most of our time talking about the things that we do wrong, because we have some issues big time in America. But that's no surprise, right? We're not the same America.
Oh.
We're not the same America.
A little song. I like
We're
it.
not the same America.
Cute.
We're not the same America. No way.
Go team.
So before we get into the metrics, talk about how depressing things are here, we should go over the final results. Of all big developed nations, Norway came out on top, followed by Denmark, Finland, and New Zealand. Many African nations came out on the bottom. We ranked 28th. After having slipped from 11th a decade ago. We now rank behind significantly poorer countries like Estonia, Cyprus, Greece, and the Czech Republic. But we dropped more than anyone else.
But what were they marking
If this were to continue, the U.S. would be on par with those African nations one day. Now this isn't going to be very fun, but let's just rip off the Band-Aid and get started with this stuff.
Let's do it.
One breakfast, Jack, and hurry.
Jack in the box. We're really cooking now.
One big reason for our poor showing in our world rankings is our health and nutrition. As a nation, we lead the world in medical technology. but we're 97th in access to healthcare. We have health statistics similar to people in Chile, Albania, and Jordan. If you compare the US to the world's 11th richest nations, the US spends far more on healthcare, but the outcomes are last. That means access to healthcare, efficiency of our medical system, and equity across different income groups is terrible.
I think most Americans wouldn't argue with that.
To provide relief in terms of cost and access, but sadly, it's been statistically proven that countries with nationalized medical systems outperform us on all healthcare measures. Plus, a lot of us are overweight, but we know that already. We rank 11th in the world in terms of obesity rates and first among all developed nations. Unless you count Kuwait. When you look at mental health, we're winners again. And by that I mean losers. The World Health Organization says we have the third highest depression rates in the world after China and India. The share of Americans who report that every day is a bad mental health day has doubled over the last 25 years. Rising distress and despair are a largely American phenomenon, not observed in other advanced countries.
I gotta wonder in that though. I mean, this video came out in 2020. I don't know when this statistic thing was done. I think the pandemic had a lot to do with it. I can only speak for myself, but my own mental health went to absolute fook, and I'm only coming out of it now.
And since the pandemic, our depression rates have tripled. In terms of suicide rates, the US isn't crazy high. We rank 34th in the world for suicide rates per capita, but it's going up fast, pal. Our nation's suicide rates are up 30% since the year 2000, and up 50% among girls and women.
Wow.
You can bet social media has a lot to do with that.
Yes, I would say social media probably has something to do with it, but also just general societal pressure on women. Women are expected to be able to do everything these days. You're expected to be superwoman. You're supposed to have a great job. You're supposed to look fantastic. You're supposed to manage the kids. You're supposed to run a household. You're supposed to be able to do everything and go to the gym and eat well at the same time. And that has only increased. Yes, social media, but just general societal pressure on women. I'm sure he'll get to the men.
This is drugs.
Ooh.
This is your brain on drugs.
Ooh.
Any questions?
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right?
Oh.
I learned it by watching you.
Parents who use drugs have children who use drugs.
Oh, God.
We're a country of stimulants, we are. Drug, alcohol, and prescription medication use is climbing. We've been in an endless war on drugs, but as a country, we consume more than 5% of all illegal drugs in the world. Just our country alone. And drug use is up in this nation by more than 8% over the last 20 years. An estimated 1 in 10 kids in the USA lives with a parent who has an alcohol problem. Alcohol use is only up a teeny bit, so at least there's that. And the good news is that with teens, it's down a lot.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me about alcohol use not changing that much. America has always been compared to the culture I grew up in Ireland, where alcohol is like very much at the fore and center of everything. I think in contrast, America is very cautious when it comes to alcohol, generally speaking. So that doesn't surprise me.
Kids these days don't drink and smoke and experiment like they did when we were kids. Yay, kids. Though. But prescription drug use is up since 2000. Overdose numbers are skyrocketing, especially when you look at synthetic drugs. And total yearly deaths from all of this is more than doubled in the last 20 years.
McGruff here. See that guy? He's stealing that bike. Now, see that lady? She's calling the cops. Mimi Marth, part of the Eyes and Ears Patrol in Hartford, Connecticut. Take a bite out of crime.
Is that a real?
Now, what about crime? Well, when you measure violent and property crime, we're about middle of the road, but a majority of countries have a lower homicide rate than we do. But crime and safety has been a real concern in 2020, as large cities have been overrun with a spike in shootings and vandalism.
2020
Shrinking
was
police budgets have only made the problem worse. We lead the world in percentage of people locked up, and we spend by far the most on keeping people behind bars. More than 2 million Americans are in prison alone, and that's not even in jails. So basically the entire population of New Mexico is in prison, at least comparatively. Of course, we have a ton of jerks who do deserve to be in jail, but are we doing something wrong? A lot of other countries are educating, counseling, and treating our criminals' addictions and helping them transition into the job sector. Not us.
Our nation's crime has dropped a lot over the last 30 years.
That's right, and so is crime around the world. Why is that, Mappy?
One study says because the world's population is getting older.
Huh, well that makes sense, Mappy.
What?
You get an A. Older people are less likely to commit crimes.
Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah.
At least for the most part.
Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president. You like Ike, I like Ike. Everybody likes Ike for president. Hang out the banner, beat the drum. We'll take Ike to Washington.
On the freedom metric, we lag in sharing political power among all citizens. We rank a shameful 100th in the world when it comes to discrimination against minorities. While anyone is capable of reaching the American dream, and clearly anyone can rise to power within our political system, it's still skewed towards one demographic. Our First Amendment rights are being taken away now too. If you say the wrong thing on social media, you'll get ostracized.
Yeah, social media is a
from your job.
I'm just laughing because if you know that Father Ted scene where they hold up the signs, yeah, that's just what, yeah. Sorry, totally nothing to do with this video, but yeah.
Or even assaulted. Cancel culture is taking over America right now, and politicians can take away our rights with one stroke of a pen, and they're doing that right now.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural
I've seen
beauty
this
that
ad.
was once this country, and some people don't.
He is trash.
People start pollution. People can stop it.
Literally.
We should probably get a big fat C when it comes to our environmental score. We rank first in greenhouse gas emissions. We only have the world's 40th best water supply. But in terms of overall pollution, when you measure chemicals in our water, the contamination in our soil, and particulate matter UGM3, whatever that means, we're super good.
Ireland's
like,
higher.
At the bottom. Yay,
Oh
us.
my gosh, Ireland is higher. And I was going to say, like, it's kind of fair is not the right word. I understand why you would rank not that well in this, being that you're such a large country and you have so many, like, huge facilities and stuff like that. What the heck? Ireland's so high up. Oh my gosh, that is shameful, Ireland. Oh my god, and Spain is right there above Ireland. For shame.
I'm a volunteer for the environment. I'm gonna clean up some trash one day.
Wait, you are a volunteer or you're going to be a volunteer?
Oh, I have a good soul.
I don't think you can say that about yourself, Karen. I think other people need to say that about you.
He's very entertaining.
So weird. She's crazy. Education-wise, it's all over the place. We rank #1 in the world for quality of our universities, but we rank 91st in the world when it comes to access to quality basic education. Our kids get an education roughly similar to what kids in Uzbekistan and Mongolia get, and that's not good. How do our kids compare to the kids across the world? About average. In reading, we're 11th in the world, and in science, we're close to that. But our math scores are middle of the road. Latvian and Czech Republic kids are smarter in math than we are. But you can't blame our schools as much as you can our family structure. Research has shown that 60% of school success is determined by an American kid's upbringing. Bad family structure, poor living conditions, and rough neighborhoods matter 6 times more than the quality of the teacher or the school itself. Well, we know it's not our household incomes holding our kids back. After all, we're the 6th wealthiest overall when it comes to average household wealth.
Wow.
So it has to be our family values which are the main cause for our school failures. One big thing stands out here: family structure. It's estimated that 2% of U.S. kids have a parent in prison, which is crazy high. That's like 1 in 50 kids.
That's a lot.
Two-parent families have been proven to have a significant impact on a kid's success. Here in America, we have a high level of early marriage couples, and in a majority of U.S. states, kids can still get married before the age of 18.
I mean, I saw like something on TikTok today, and yeah, Americans get married so young compared to like Ireland and Spain. I don't know if that's a statistical thing, it's just a human observation thing. To me, when I see Americans getting married and it's their first marriage, they're usually like just out of school, high school sweethearts.
The divorce rate among U.S. households is going down over time, but we still rank 5th in the world for divorce rates at about 46%. Why? Well, Americans can legally marry so young these days, and divorces are much easier to navigate through now, and the social stigma of a divorce in the U.S. no longer exists. And parents are distracted by trying to get ahead, by trying to please others, and by social media and TV. We have, apparently, the highest rate of kids living in single-parent households of all other nations. Wow. Almost a quarter of US kids under the age of 18 live with one parent and no other adult, which is 3 times higher than the world average.
Wow.
So maybe the eroding American family structure is setting up our kids for failure. Chasing the American dream puts undue stress on Americans. We work way too many hours. 1 in 10 Americans works more than 50 hours a week, which is the 10th highest rate in the world. And our system of support for working parents is weak.
Yeah, I will say on that, in other countries in the world, you have maternity and even paternity leave. A lot of you guys have told me in the comments that you tend to work through sickness and stuff like that, and you don't get like a lot of benefits that we do in Europe. So yeah, you guys, you work a lot. Fair play, but have a Kit Kat.
Companies in a lot of other countries give far more paid leave for new parents and much more vacation time and sick time than we do. And then there's this. Both parents work full-time in nearly half of all US households. Yeah. And that's up from 31% in 1970. And those are only the households where there are 2 parents at home. And still, nearly a third of kids in our country live in poverty, people.
That's insane.
If you're not out there sitting in traffic trying to get ahead in America, there's a decent chance you're also struggling or homeless. Homelessness in our country is going down for the most part, although in some of our major cities it's skyrocketing in places like New York, LA, Seattle, and Portland. More than 500,000 Americans sleep without shelter each night. All of this, all of the problems that we've talked about so far, it's been going on forever. They predate our current administration and have grown under the leadership of both parties. Mm-hmm. Of course, we're trying to fix things all the time. Kids are being asked to exercise more in school, and laws are passed banning certain foods. There's a war on drugs, like we said earlier. Schools are constantly tweaking things to improve scores and involvement. Okay. New homeless programs are developed to try to help house people and transition them more effectively. And new laws hit the books to regulate emissions and pollution. But are we succeeding? I mean, maybe the problem isn't the laws and programs and initiatives. What if the problem is us? You can't change laws and make changes to the way a country runs and expect change unless the people change with it. And you can't change people unless they want to change. People.
Very true.
Maybe the reason we're falling behind other nations isn't the way we run our country. Maybe it's the people in it, the way we act and behave, and the choices we make. Face it, the American society is kind of broken right now. Now, earlier I did an optimistic video where I called America the best country on earth.
Oh, I must watch that.
That was mostly just nationalistic pandering. Look, I fly the flag high and proud myself, but facts are facts. We have a lot of things that we're doing wrong. I mean, sure, we're rich and we're proud, but are we nice to each other? Are we complacent?
People are.
Do we even give a crap anymore?
Globally.
I mean, have Americans thrown in the towel? And don't be so sad.
I don't know. Have you?
Smile. We're gonna be okay. Probably. Maybe.
Oh my God! It's so despondent.
We're kind of bad. It's kind of sad. It's like we know we're different and we don't give a shit. From LA to northern Maine.
I love this song.
We're not the same America.
Oh my God.
'Cause it seems we've lost our way.
I like him. He's fun. So it was a quite despondent video, I would say. However, I think that there's a lot of things that people are doing to try and improve the situation. Some of the things that he talked about are just global phenomenons right now. Like, people are depressed globally. Of course, there are things that he mentioned that could be done better, and how do you do them better? I don't know. I'm not a politician. Seems like the politicians don't have the answers either, but yeah. On that note, cheerful. Let's look at some cool people. These are all people who support this channel on Patreon. Thank you to each and every one of you. You keep this little man chewy. Oh, in dog snacks. Dog snacks. Maybe you would like to join the crew and check out more of my personal life and things that go on behind the scenes. If you do, it's right here. That's it for today. See you on the other side. Bye. If you hear a leaf blower, I'm very sorry. It's the end of the day and people are blowing leaves so as not to do other tasks. Hi. Are you okay? You kind of look like you're going to fall off the couch again. Please don't.